Parker had brain cancer. He wanted to take pills to end his life. But suddenly, the TV went haywire. A white light flashed behind him. He turned around and to his astonishment saw the wall starting to vanish. His own hand began to blur as well. In a split second, the ground beneath his feet turned into a swamp. Parker was completely freaked out. His body started to sink gradually. He tried to leap onto the couch, but even the couch disappeared. Then, when he spun around, he spotted a crocodile in the distance swimming menacingly towards him. Scared out of his wits, he backed away repeatedly. When he looked back, an ancient soldier was charging at him with a long sword. He reached out to block, but the next second, he was back in the living room, safe and sound. So he wasn't dead after all. Could everything that had just happened be a hallucination? If it was, then what about the real scratches on the ground? Now there was only one explanation: he had time traveled. To prove his hunch, he tilted his head back and took another pill and recorded every single detail with a camera. But this time, he actually traveled back to the Ice Age. Snow was swirling all around, and Parker was shivering with cold. 7 minutes later, he traveled back home again, covered in ice chips. He soaked himself in the bathtub. As his body gradually warmed up, his thoughts became clearer. The first time, he traveled from the couch to the swamp, and the second time, from the living room to the Ice Age. That is to say, different locations would send him to different periods. To test this idea, Parker stood in place, put on a thick winter coat, a hat, and gloves, and carried a pile of firewood, and embarked on his third time travel. Sure enough, he found himself in the Ice Age once more. Parker lit a fire in the heavy snow, and the firelight actually caught the attention of a primitive man. A primitive man walked up to the fire with a spear from the distance. The two sat facing each other. After these 3-time travels, Parker discovered a pattern. It turned out that the effect of this kind of pill only lasted for 7 minutes. The location where the drug took effect determined the time and place of the return journey. But the prerequisite was that he had to return to the original position within 7 minutes. Otherwise, he would be stuck in the past forever. After figuring everything out, Parker suddenly had a bold idea. He wanted to go back in time to save his friend's daughter, Vivian. It turned out that just a few days ago, Vivian suddenly went missing during a party with her classmates. The only clue at the scene was the packaging bag of this kind of pill. So it seemed that Vivian must have traveled to some time and space under the influence of the pill. Since she didn't know the logic of time travel, she couldn't come back. Parker wanted to save Vivian, but another problem cropped up. He could come back when he traveled alone, but could two people come back together? To make sure everything went smoothly, Parker decided to test it out with his dog first. He took a pill and sat on the other end of the couch, holding his dog. In the blink of an eye, they were back in the 1960s, and the place they traveled to was actually someone else's couch. The owner of the house was kicked out. To get back, they had to return to the couch in that room. So Parker and his dog had to wait until nightfall to sneak into the room. Parker took a pill and waited quietly, with the countdown in his mind. However, just then, the owner of the house showed up again. The two got into a scuffle. At the last second, he managed to travel back, but his dog, since it didn't make it back to the couch, was left in the past forever.